Hello, good morning. Welcome to my channel, LD Arts. Today, I am going to do alcohol inks. A lot of people used to ask me all the time, what do I use and all that. So I'm going to show real quick what I use, and then I'm going to set up and we're going to do some alcohol inks today. So let me set this aside. Normally, what I use just for fun, practice, or just to give like little, you can make cards with this and stuff, gifts to like family and friends, I normally use this. This is Kirkland Professional Glossy Inkjet Photo Paper. This is what I use. It comes in 150 sheets, 8 by 5 inch and 11 inch. Okay, that's what I use right there. And this is what they look like. The sheets come like this. One side is glossy, you can see that, and one side is matte. You want to use the matte side. Do not use this glossy side. This is inkjet paper, which means it soaks in ink so that it can make an image. So do not use this side. It will just soak up your ink and you will be very frustrated. You want to use the back side, which is non-glossy. It has a little bit of slip to it. This is what you want to use, okay? And this is what I'll be using today. So we'll set this right here. So normally, if I'm going to sell something, I use these papers. So I will use this Duralar paper, 9 by 12. It usually comes in 9 by 12. I haven't seen these in any bigger. And they come 25 sheets. So you can get this on Amazon. I will link it. And literally what it is a see-through, you see my hand? A clear plastic. It's very slippery and very nice to work with. It's one of my favorites. So I have 2 of these. And then the other one, which is my true favorite, this is what I use. I will use both of these to sell. I will sell both of these. But if you really want to, you know, up your game, get a Yupo paper. Okay. This one is 9 inch by 12 inch. And this big one here is 11 by 14. And you can buy sheets too and then cut them yourself. But this paper right here is my favorite by far. And it is the same as the Duralar paper, but the only difference is it's not see-through. You see that? It's like a white sheet of paper, but it's very smooth on both sides. Okay? So for selling your art, presenting your art, Yupo paper is the best. Duralar paper is good too because you can put a white backing behind this and it's no longer see-through. And I'll show you, I usually cut my pieces like this. So this is the Yupo paper, and oh, some of this might be photo. This might be photo paper because I normally don't cut my Yupo paper unless I absolutely need to. So this is photo paper, but this is the Duralar paper. And you can clearly see, I mean, you can read. Let me lift this up. You see how see-through this is? So, but I love using this. It's kind of a creamy color. I like how it works with the alcohol inks. And I will take one of these out just to show you the difference between the two. So the Duralar and the Yupo, big difference. It's a very flexible, so you can move this if you're one of those artists that uses ink, alcohol inks and likes to manipulate your ink. This is perfect for that. You can also do it with this. It's flexible enough to do that too. I don't do that. You'll see how I set up and use my alcohol inks, but I have picked up my work and moved it too. But anyways, that is what I use. So with the Kirkland paper, it's an excellent paper to use for if you're just starting and you're practicing. It's a perfect paper to use for sure. And you should cut your pieces down like this in these nice squares. These fit great in a 5x7 frame, and this is good for practice. So this is usually what I use for practice, and this is the Kirkland glossy photo paper. So I'll probably be playing around with these too. But today I'm going to work on this big guy right here, photo paper. All right, so let's get set up and get started on working on some alcohol ink today, okay? All right, so before I get started, I was talking about the Yupo paper and the photo paper. Another thing I want to talk about is practice. So before you even go out and buy a big old thing of Kirkland photo paper, if you've gotten a printer, everyone gets these in their printer. Okay, well, I got this at Big Lots when I first started alcohol inks because I wanted to practice. But there's a back side and there's a glossy side. We all know we use the non-glossy side. So these are really good for practice. Or if you have a circuit, these are good for making cards with alcohol ink and then putting them, you know, putting a design on here and then stamping them in there. This is what I use these for now. This is what I used to use for practice. These HP, they came with an HP printer, which no longer works now, but anyways, they have this watermark on the back. Great for practice. Just practice on these and go to town on it, and don't use this glossy side, okay? So that's my tiny little tip for when you want to practice. Don't waste this paper right here. This is Kirkland paper, by the way, 9x12. And the other thing that is good to keep in mind is cleanup. I use these watercolor brushes. I used to use this. This now has alcohol in it, but I hardly ever use it. I use these little spoolies right here, paintbrush spoolies. They look like little paint brushes. Sometimes I use those, but my go-to, number one go-to, these have alcohol in it, is a watercolor brush. And I do watercolor, and I have tons of these because I travel a lot, and sometimes I like to use travel brushes, and sometimes I like to use this. It just depends on the airport and, you know, water and all that. So if I can't carry water, I can go in through check and then fill these up with water, and then I can do some paintings while I'm at the airport waiting, while I'm on the plane, whatever. Okay, so these have alcohol and they're great for cleanup, and you'll see me use these today. All right, and I fill this up with alcohol, but I don't normally use this. This came with alcohol markers, which I do paint with, but I don't really use this. I filled it up, now it's all dried up. Okay, and let me see. So the inks, I use Tim Holtz and Pinata. Once my Pinata is gone, I'm going to stop using it. I might continue to use Tim Holtz, but I found something else, and later on I will do a video on these. I'm not going to use these today, but I found Let's Resin makes alcohol inks. So they have 26-piece alcohol ink, which I got. They probably have more, but I don't know. And they have 24 color metallic ink. So this should be fun. So I'll do a video on these later. I will link these, but I won't be using them in this video today. I'll be using the Pinata and the Tim Holtz. Both good alcohol inks. I love these alcohol inks. The only reason why I'm not using the Pinata anymore, they don't have many colors. And their colors sometimes can be so darn pigmented that they can mess up, you know, If you want that, go for it. But for me, I want something soft and just flowy and doesn't stain so much. Let me see. Oh, Mixative. So Tim Holtz and Pinata both make mixatives. They have these little bottles in rich gold, silver, and brass. And Tim Holtz has gold and silver. They have a snow cap. That's Tim Holtz. And Pinata has Blanca, which is this white. These are great. A lot of people use the snow cap from Tim Holtz in resin. It creates some great effects. I've never used it. I don't really do those petri dish type of things in resin. I use my resin to make things that are useful in the house. But, you know, everyone has their own way of doing their art. So these I barely use. Well, the two whites I barely use. What I do use is rich gold sometimes, silver sometimes, but my favorite is brass. This right here is my go-to. I use this in pretty much everything that I do. I love the look and the shimmer of it, and it's between, you know, it's kind of gold but not so gold. So this is my favorite. This is what I use the most in almost all of my videos with alcohol inks. You can go back and look at those. I'm using this, and I just bought this. So this one is brand new because my other one is almost gone. And the other thing, last and not least, don't clean out your alcohol inks. If they dry, like if you put them in these little things or you put them in a little cup, let them dry and set them aside. These reactivate with alcohol. So don't toss this. Don't clean this out. Oh, you know, you want a clean bowl. It's just like watercolors. Let this just dry and then you can reactivate it and you can use this. I just used this on something in a painting that I was trying to add a little bit more shimmer to in a painting. And then I just let it dry. So yeah, this is great. Last, not last, but if you get this, for me in my art, this is useless. I used to add this to my alcohol. That's why it's like half full. But I find that this alcohol blending solution does not work for me. It actually makes a bigger mess for me. Now, for anyone else that uses this, great. I'm glad it works for you. Doesn't work for me though, honey. Okay, so this, I use this to like clean up stuff, basically. I don't use this in my art at all. So this is a toss. And last, I use this. I use a Revlon blow dryer. My clamp broke, so I had to do this MacGyver. And this is what I clip onto my post that my camera is also clipped onto. So sometimes you see this jiggle when I'm doing art. It's because I'm taking I have like 6 or 7 blow dryers clipped to this post. Okay, so these are great if you have them. This is what I use. I use this Revlon. It comes in high, low, cool, and off, of course. And a 1200 watt ionic. It also comes with this little thing that I used to use in alcohol inks. I mean, in acrylic pour, but I stopped using this because I got a new blow dryer for that. But it comes with a brush attachment, and that's how it's labeled. Revlon brush blow dryer. I'll try to find it. I don't know if they still make this model, but they have models that look like this. But this is so easy to hold and control than a big blow dryer. All right, so that's all the tools that I use for my alcohol ink. So now let's get started on a fun little painting. So I'm all set up and ready to go. So today I'm going to use Tim Holtz Rust, and Stream, and a little bit of Jacquard's Pinatas Forest Green, okay? And of course, I'm going to use my brass accent or mixative and my alcohol right here, all right? So let's get started. And I'm using Kirkland's photo paper, 9x12, in on the non-glossy side. I can't stress that enough. So I'm just taking these tops off. Make sure you don't just leave your tops off. This stuff dries up really fast. So just kind of decap them a little bit. And then leaving it back on. One thing I like about Tim Holtz is that, see this nib, it's so much on Pinata. It's so much bigger than this. This is such a difference. But anyways, still a good ink. Not knocking it. They should make smaller nibs though. All right, got my brass ready. And then I put mine on a cake turntable. When I do my acrylic inks or my acrylic, when I do my acrylics, I have a glass turntable. It spins a lot better and it's a lot lower. And this one is just a plastic. You see that? I have two of these, a black one and a white one. It's just a plastic turntable that I put underneath here. And this is one of the tiles that I had tiles put on my floor up here. And this is just one of the tiles. I have several of these tiles actually that I just wrapped in plastic and I put on here. It's a really great surface. It's nice and hard and it just works for me. All right. So if anyone is wondering about that. So let's get started. I don't know what color I want to start with. I think I'm going to start with the rust as like a little background. And I just like to start in the middle. Always add your alcohol ink or your alcohol first on this paper. The Yupo paper, it doesn't matter. The Duralaw paper, it doesn't matter either. And don't be in a rush. You see, I'm just sitting here talking, letting this ink do whatever it wants to do. And my table is leveled, but obviously I don't have this on here right, because it shouldn't be moving like that. But anyways, let's put the music on and you sit back and watch me work this out. Okay? Because this makes a lot of noise, so let's just put some music on. Alrighty. And before I even start, I usually do my alcohol inks on low. It's not very strong when I'm starting off. And when I really get going, I'll use it on cool. I find if you put it on high, hot ink, because high is hot ink, it's too hot, it dries it too fast. And low, it's warm air. But because it's blowing so low, it doesn't dry so fast. And besides, you're not down on the paper like this anyways. You're coming from the sides like this. You know, you're not just down going like this. That creates something completely different. If you're trying to make roses, that's fine. But that's all you're going to make is circles. So just watch and let's see how I work this out. Okay, and cool is a high blowing air, but it's cool air. So that's usually what I start off with. Just wanted to let you know before I start this noise and put the music on. All right. Well, at least you can see I'm turning on my music as well. You can see how I'm going to work this out while I let this dry. This is not, I mean, some people are probably like, why is she letting that dry? It's okay if it dries, honey. We can redo it, okay? It's not a big deal, all right? Cue that music.